Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It is time to talk about the winter event which is coming to War Thunder this year. It is the Winter Tales event, and it will be starting on the 20th of December and it'll be going until the 9th of January. This is your pretty standard winter event. When it comes to War Thunder, there are 4 vehicles that are on offer, 1 ship, 1 tank, and also 2 planes, and how you get them is just through marks of distinction. We'll go through later on how to get these vehicles. You also have some decorations, a profile picture, a bunch of decals, and also at the same time some loot boxes, which are going to be coming in again, which are called the snow globes, and these are a silver trophy that they'll go through later on. So in this video, we're going to talk about the vehicles that are on offer, we're going to go through all of the prizes, and also how to get them when the event begins. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, and let's get started. So the first vehicle you can get access to in this event is a French premium. This is the MB151C1, and it's going to be at rank 1. You can get this after 4 marks of distinction for pilots, and the vehicle itself doesn't look exactly fantastic, but I suppose it's a nice collector's item. The Marcel Bloch MB151C1 fighter was considered by the French Air Force as a temporary solution until the more advanced duotine fighters were adopted. During the testing phase, its characteristics proved to be insufficiently effective, and the MB151C1 was almost immediately transferred to training units. Nevertheless, these aircraft still took part in the Second World War. They were used until they switched to the more modern duotine D520. German pilots also used some captured MB151C1's aircraft for training, and Greece ordered 25 of them, but only 9 were delivered, from which the 24th Squadron of the Greek Air Force was formed. These fighters took part in the defense of Greece during the Italian invasion, which is kind of cool and something that I didn't know. Now, in War Thunder, these vehicles will have access to Mach 1934 machine guns, which are the 7.5mm. They don't do a ton of damage, and generally won't be too much of a threat, but it is a rank 1, so it shouldn't be too bad. We'll still be able to damage, and also it gives you a low tier vehicle that you can do events in the future, because remember, all event vehicles now can be used to grind events. For 8 marks of distinction for planes, you'll get yourself the Kfir C10 Block 60. This is going to be an event vehicle, so not a premium, for Israel. It's also going to be at rank 8. This is the most modern Kfir that we have in the game. Of course, we have stuff like the C2 and the C7, but this one is better than all of them. In the early 1990s, IAI proposed a modernization program for the Kfir C10 to extend the service life of the Kfir fighter jet and increase the aircraft's export potential. The project's main features were a multi-mode radar, an in-flight refueling probe, and the ability to carry a wide range of modern weapons. The Israeli Air Force, however, was not interested in the project, but several dozen aircraft were purchased, and also modernized from the older Kfir C2 and C7 variants, by the Air Forces of Colombia and also Ecuador. Kfir C-10 fighters form the backbone of the Air Force fleets of these countries, and this one is incredibly modern in terms of its weaponry compared to the other Kfirs that we have in game. First of all, it has an AESA radar, which is the hot new thing when it comes to War Thunder, and also it can equip Derby active radar homing missiles. So I suppose you can grind out a vehicle in this event with access to ARHs if you want to. Also, it gets access to the Lightning II targeting pod, which is the thermal pod, which is very powerful in ground, and it can also carry along some GBU-12s and also GBU-49s to do a lot of stuff with. It also has a Morse system, which obviously automatically fires off countermeasures if somebody goes after you, and generally this has a lot of modern equipment that you will enjoy. The Kfir platform also is actually quite a nice one in general for engaging people in. So this one is going to come at rank 8. You'll have to grind out all of its modifications, but it also looks pretty cool. The main prize for ground is a T80UD, and this is the 478BE version. And this is actually going to be an event MBT for China. So China is going to be getting itself a T-80UD through Pakistan. The T-80UD was developed as a further evolution of the T-80U model, which had shown issues with its gas turbine engine during operation. The T-80UD modification received a new 1,000 horsepower diesel engine, along with several additional enhancements. It was adopted into service in 1987, and by the late 1990s, over 300 UD models were delivered to Pakistan. The export version, known as the Object 478BE, differed from the Soviet versions by lacking an infrared searchlight and a wind sensor, but gained a thermal imager for the gunner. So basically, you're getting the premium T-80UD, which is from the Soviet tech tree, but in the Chinese tech tree, and it only has standard rewards, but it does have a thermal imager. So it's actually really good. Like, it's going to be a great vehicle. The T-80 is the quintessential better Soviet MBT, and it's the reason why a lot of nations have had it in the past in War Thunder instead of stuff like T-72s and also T-90s, mainly because its mobility is very good, it has the better reload at 6.5 seconds, and also has a lot of other factors that make it work very well. The T-80UD being farmed out is not too much of a surprise. With an additional thermal imager as well will help people a lot when playing this vehicle. The only thing you have to remember with this is because of the diesel engine, it isn't as mobile as some of the other T-80s, but it also gets a much lower BR because of it, and also you can't really reverse, which is the big thing for this vehicle. So once you're in the battle, you can't get out. It's still a fantastic vehicle though, and China has a bunch of tanks around the BRs where you'll be able to play this, so generally it will be good. It's also nice to see another Pakistani vehicle in the game, since of course that's a nation that's being expanded in China right now, and yeah, to get an event vehicle is pretty awesome. For 8 marks of distinction for naval, you get the Kirishima. This is a large battleship that is coming to Japan at rank 5, and it's also going to be an event vehicle. The Kirishima was a Kongo-class battlecruiser for the Imperial Japanese Navy. This ship was laid down in 1912 and commissioned in 1915, and after a major overhaul in 1927, the ship was reclassified as a battleship. The next major overhaul was in the 1934 program, which among other things more than doubled the power of the propulsion system. The Kirishima was not actively used before the Second World War, but was actively used after its outbreak. During the Battle of Guadalcanal, she was shot at close range by the American battleship Washington and sank on the 15th of November, 1942. The Kirishima will be another 7.0 battleship that Japan has. It has 8 of the 356mm caliber guns in dual mounts. It also has a bunch of 127mm as well as secondaries, and also a few 25mm as well. It never got upgraded to the crazy standard of stuff like the Yamato with all of its 25mm, but they did at least add some to it for an anti-aircraft complement. So, if you want a vehicle which is similar to others that we already have in the game, and also don't want to grind through the Japanese tech tree, this Kongo class joins some others which you can get access to. It is an event vehicle once again though, so you will have to grind out its modifications, and you won't get premium bonuses, but at least it will give you a taste of what top tier naval is like. There's also a bunch of other prizes that you can get through Marks of Distinction, and these are set up like older winter events if you remember how they work. Basically, you first of all have 2 decorations. The first one is the Nutcracker decoration, and this you will get with the 6th Mark of Distinction for tankers. So this is a ground decoration, and then also there is the Witch's House decoration, which is coming in for naval. You can get this on the 6th Mark of Distinction for naval, and as I've said many times, the naval decorations are just fantastic. This is the Baba Yaga, which is coming in too. And for planes, for the 6th Mark of Distinction there, you get yourself a profile icon with a profile named Callsign Snow Maiden, so basically an undercover operative with incredibly blue eyes. Then they have a bunch of decals, and the way that these decals are set up are as decal coupons. So what you can do is you can unfortunately get the same decals over and over again, which is kind of annoying. These are at the marker distinction for pilots at number 2, then for tankers at 2 and 4, and naval 2 and 4 too. So if you want to get access to all of the decals, you have to play all 3 of these separate modes, and we'll go into how that works in a bit if you haven't done a winter event before. The decals themselves, you have Grilla, which I believe is the Hansel and Gretel, which then you have Hans Trap, Jack Frost, Befana, and of course Krampus, which turns up, which is really cool. And if you collect all of the decals, you get access to a special one, which is the Yule Cat, which is kind of nice. Now remember, all these decals are decal coupons, so if you're on PC, you might actually get the same decal over and over and over again. This means you'll have to use the market in order to get all of the individual ones, if that's what you want. To get the Yule Cat decal, I believe on console, you can just trade your duplicate decals for ones that you haven't had before, so it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, it's kind of annoying how they do this system, because you're not guaranteed all of the decals. Sometimes you can get lucky, but that's it. Sometimes you get unlucky. Like for me, there was one year where I think I got 4 of the same decal or 3 of the same decal, so I had to use the market. There's also a few other rewards, such as the camouflages for the individual vehicles. Then you also have a trophy with a reward, which is the same one you see in the pages of history. So you either get some SL or RP boosters, random wages, or you can get a camouflage or a day of premium account, which is quite nice. Then you also have the snow globe, which you can also get, which are, as I said, they're going to be loot boxes, which will be the winter loot boxes. So if you like to gamble, this would be the time. Now, how do these general marks of distinction work? How do you complete this event? Well, there are 10 marks of distinction for each set. So marks of distinction for pilots, tankers, and sailors. In order to complete one mark of distinction, you have to play that specific game mode. So for pilots, you have to play Air RB, Air AB, or Air Sim. Same for ground, but in the ground game modes, and for naval, it's Naval Arcade, and also Naval Realistic. And what you have to do is grind out 40,000 mission points in random battles in these modes in rank 3 or higher vehicles. If you have event vehicles, you can technically use them at any rank, so rank 1 event vehicles can work, and you have to grind out 40,000 mission points every 2 days. So if you want to get each of the marks of distinction while this event is going on, when the first one is available, you will have to grind out 120,000 mission score in that 2-day period, which is the 20th to, of course, the 22nd. So that means that you have to 40,000 in each of the different game modes. If you only want one of the marks of distinction, so let's say you just want the mark of distinction for tankers, then you just have to play the ground game modes and grind out 40,000 in them collectively. So that's basically how it works. Now what you can do is you can buy the marks of distinction if you want to with Golden Eagles until the 13th of January when the event will eventually end. Now the amount of marks of distinction there are 10 per type of, event, and therefore you have 30 overall. So if you want the major prizes of each of kind of the lines, you have to get at least 8 marks of distinction. The 9th mark of distinction for each of the lines is camouflages for each of the vehicles, and then the upgrade coupon is at the 10th mark of distinction. So you can upgrade the Kfir C10 Block 60, you can upgrade the T80U, and also upgrade the Kirishima. So if you're on PC, you can sell all of these vehicles on the market if you actually want to, which is quite nice. Or you can exchange it for war bonds, the coupon, and keep the vehicles themselves. So that is pretty much how it goes. It's kind of nice, and generally it's pretty simple. just grind 40k every 2 days for a specific vehicle or in specific modes, and you'll be able to get the mark of distinction you want. And 120k overall with 40k split between naval, air modes, and ground, and you'll be able to get everything every 2 days. That's how it works. That's how it's worked for years. This winter event has not changed for an incredibly long time. So make sure to get it done like that. If you do have any additional questions, I will be grinding this event on stream with you, playing naval, playing aviation, and playing ground. You can do a lot of this stuff alongside doing the battle pass stuff, the dailies, and all of those different things. The only stuff that gets in the way is obviously Christmas and the New Year's. But remember, you can miss 2 marks of distinction from each of the areas and still get access to all of the vehicles. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.